All right, the first thing you want to do is get your paper taped down to your board. We want to tape all the edges so that it doesn't curl up on you while you're painting. When you tape it, you only want to overlap the edges about 1/8 of an inch or a couple millimeters, just to reserve as much space on your paper as possible. So if you don't, hopefully you've already got some masking tape. Or blue painter's tape, or whatever tape you have, you want to tape it. If you don't have tape yet today, doing the value scale, if you don't tape this down, it's not going to curl up a whole lot because we're going to work in small little squares. But when we get to the next stages, you definitely want to tape down because we're going to be putting a lot of water on the paper, and it's definitely going to curl up on you and cause problems. So we're just going to start out simple with some color mixing and doing a value scale so that you get used to the transparent medium. It's going to be much different than acrylics. You've done watercolor. Most of you have done some kind of watercolor. You're familiar with watercolor, so it's not as deep and as saturated of color, as intense as acrylic paint is. So we want to do a value scale just to get our mind wrapped around the different transparency levels of working with watercolor paint, because we don't use white to lighten our colors. We just use more water. All right, so what you want to do first of all is just divide your paper into four sections. So it's 7 by 10. So what you can do is just divide it in half, 3 1/2, and then 1 3/4, or you can just eyeball it. I don't care. But anyways, it's 7 by 10, so you can divide that up. Just draw a line across so we have 4 rows. Once you have 4 rows along the top here, we're going to do what's called a value scale. So and each row is going to be divided up into 7 squares. Okay, we're going to do some color mixing down here, value scale up here. So if you find the center, again, the paper is 10 inches wide. All right, so 7 inches this way, 10 inches this way. Okay, so I found the center, 5 inches right here, and then I just drew a square, about 1 inch square. And then you can go from there. If you draw 3 more on either side, if you put one in the center, you can fit 3 on either side of that. And I just kind of drew a line for the top going all the way across. Draw a line. You can use your ruler if you want. Draw a line going all the way across here. You're just leaving a little bit of gap, so if these are wet, when we do the next section by chance, you don't want them to bleed into each other. So you want to leave a gap in between. And you want to leave between your columns and leave a gap in between your rows. So just divide that up. Okay, and once you have that divided up evenly, okay, there you have it. I don't need to darken them in too much, but just so you guys can see it watching the video. Once you have that, and that's good, you're 7, you can just transfer all of that all the way, down like this. And again, you can use your ruler if you want to make it go faster. Just make sure that you don't that you keep your ruler nice and straight. And then do the same thing here. Kind of divide this up. Now up here, leave some room for the words you're going to write. We're going to write in the colors. We're going to start here with a red-violet color, and we're going to transition all the way down here to a blue-violet. This one here will start with a yellow-orange, and we're going to transition to a red-orange. So as you can tell, I only gave you the 3 primary colors in your paint sets, and then 2 different kinds of browns. So our color mixing, we're going to experiment with a range of oranges and a range of violets and a range of greens. So we'll start with a yellow green. And so I'm starting on the lighter end of the scale with each of these colors. Oh, not blue orange. Blue green. Got orange in my mind. Okay, so we're going to start with the lighter, and then we're gradually going to add. So what we do is we start with the lighter color, like in this case red, and we're going to add a little blue to it. Obviously red and blue make violet. And then we'll just keep adding more blue until it looks more blue than red. So it'll transition from red violet to blue violet. We'll start with yellow, add a little bit of orange, keep adding more, I'm sorry, not orange, adding more red until it looks more red-orange. Same thing here. We'll start with yellow, add a little bit of blue, make it a yellow-green, keep adding more blue until it becomes more blue. You know, the blue is stronger and it becomes a blue-green. So hopefully you kind of get the idea there. So then once you have your words in here, you can transfer your lines down for your columns. Once you have your words in here, then you can draw your lines across, okay, and divide it up and transfer all that down, and you'll have this big grid of all these colors, and we'll do all our color mixing on that, which I'll show you in the next video.